Okay. Okay, guys, what is going on? This is Peter of MNN. I have a special guest today. Please introduce yourself.
I'm John or John Reaves live on YouTube, and yeah, here in Japan with you, man. I'm freaking stoked about this.
Yeah, we've met up. It's not been a few times,
I know, yeah, yeah.
and it's kind of a year anniversary
So
almost
we
of having
found,
met each other,
yeah,
right?
yeah. We found that out, I guess, yesterday, right, at the Day of Maid concert. So random, but very cool. Very
Yeah,
cool,
yeah, yeah.
dude.
So last year was at Zep Haneda, Day of
Mm-hmm.
Maid. We ended up grabbing dinner. I think it was at like one of those beef bowl places, like
Yeah, yeah.
Yoshinoya.
That was really good. It was a good place. I remember it being all right.
Yeah. And then we hit up a show together after that.
Mm-hmm.
That was with Hades, Doll Parts,
Ah,
and Aya.
yeah. That was the first time I saw Doll Parts live too. They were well, any of those bands, but
Yeah,
they were
yeah, yeah,
amazing. Yeah, they blew my mind, dude.
yeah. So you've been slowly getting more and more into
Mhm.
Japanese bands, right?
Most definitely. Yeah.
Uh, but you're primary. Is it primarily K-pop? I mean,
No, like I don't know anymore. I used to kind of like I was really into like American metal, and then I branched into K-pop. I dipped my toes in it, and it fell my entire body into K-pop for a while.
because it makes sense going from American metal to K-pop
Yeah,
because you're like it sounds exactly the same
yeah. You just
basically.
take one wrong turn and you're into K-pop. But so I was in that for a long time, and then starting to do reactions. People were like, "You should check out this band," and like One OK Rock turned into Bandmade into this, and then that, and then now like I'm very deep. I love J metal, J rock, pop. Even I'm definitely into it. But dude, you know something really funny is like the first time I came here to Japan
Uh-huh.
was to see One Ok Rock. So I was
Okay.
like, but I grew up in the local scene in America playing like underground metal shows.
Okay.
And so a goal of mine, I left Japan being like, man, I really want to see like an underground metal show. And so like you actually introduced me like going to Hades and different bands like that. That's like home for me. But then now I'm doing it
Interesting.
here, so it's like
Interesting.
very cool. I love that.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So you're originally from Tennessee,
Hmm.
and you still live there.
Yeah, yeah. A little outside of Nashville, so people are like country music, but it's very metal too.
Okay, very cool. So going from metal going to K-pop, you're more at home with the metal rock scene in
Hmm.
Japan then, like
Yeah, yeah,
musically.
yeah. Most definitely, mosh pits and stuff like that. I don't know. I didn't know what to do at a K-pop concert. Like I went to a K-pop concert. I'm like, nobody's pushing
You
each
don't
other.
have your light stick and your
Not
fans.
at the time, no.
Now you
Now I'm
do.
like, okay, I know what I'm doing. Now I'm good. But like, dude, yeah, it was weird. Just standing there, nobody's getting pushed, no crowd surfing. But
Yeah.
like, I want to crowd surf. Maybe I wanted to crowd surf to BTS. It just never happened.
I would actually love to see that. Can we make that something?
Can someone please start crowd surfing at BTS concerts? It would be a lot of fun.
I would pay to see that.
Yeah,
I would
I
definitely
mean,
pay to see that.
dude. So we were at I think it was the Dim Race concert. I think it was the
Okay.
Dim Race concert.
Yeah.
And I cannot remember his name for the life of me. And I'm so sorry if you're watching this, but I was telling somebody there, I was like, yeah, let's crowd surf. And he's a good bit older than me. And he was like, I got a video of him crowd surfing and
Mm.
I punked out. I was like, I'm too heavy. I'm like 200 pounds.
Oh wait, that was actually the show that I
Mhm.
jumped off the
Yeah,
stage. Yeah.
yeah, you crowd surf.
So I was actually doing photos for Dim Rays.
Yeah.
He had mentioned it. I was like, oh, I can't because I'm doing photos. But then,
And then I see him just crowd surfing later on,
yeah,
anyways.
that's right. At one point, I was up in the front doing photos. I need to get out of there.
Yeah.
And
Dude,
then
that's
I
so
saw a
funny.
gentleman jump out from the front. I was like, I guess this is a good way. This is a good exit strategy. So that was fun. That was a good show.
Yeah.
That was a good show.
But I will say I made up for it though, because I went to Bloodywood in CrossFit a couple of nights ago, and I crowd surfed, and I got dropped the first time, so like my nightmares came true. But then I got up and I'm okay. I think I got a bruise on my nose, but that's about
Mm,
it. And then yeah, and then I got up and crowd surfed a few more times. So
that's cool. That's cool.
Japanese crowd surfing, it has been checked off the bucket list.
So one of the things is you're not only interested in these smaller bands that play like it's really like 150 capacity venues, but you're into actually some bigger bands in Japan.
Yeah,
Like One OK Rock is not a small band at all.
for sure.
Um, how would you compare the shows, the interactions,
Mhm.
the vibe?
That's a really solid question, actually. I mean, because there's obviously like like the sorry.
That's a motorcycle.
There's a cool little schnauzer dog going that way earlier too. It's awesome. It's a very lively street that we're at actually.
Yeah, we're in Shimokitazawa.
It's
Very lively place.
very cool, interesting place, man. But honestly, I think like the intimate scene of like the smaller bands, I love that more. And it's so whenever we went and saw actually the two times I've seen One OK Rock, like I love their band and I know all their songs. So it's a really cool experience just to be able to see them like that. But like I saw them at the Tokyo Dome in the
Okay.
sound where I was sitting at, and also they put me with the friends and family.
Mm.
So it's like their aunts and uncles. They're not going to be raging out to the music. You know what I mean? Everybody's like, the dude, like one seat in front of me and like a few beside me was like this the whole time. And it didn't move, dude. So it's like, I'm very like feed off the energy of the crowd type
Yeah,
person as
yeah.
far as my experience of the show. And so seeing them at smaller venues is like funner for me. So I do like seeing big bands, but like I would prefer to see a big band in a
Smaller venue.
yeah, for sure. So but then there's also like production and stuff like that that
Right.
comes with a bigger venue, I guess. But intimacy in a smaller venue for these smaller bands are freaking like peak. And if you ever can come out here for a concert, like go to some of these smaller band shows just to get that experience because you're not going to get that anywhere else. I don't think.
Right. So you were at that one. You were at a Haiti show. I saw you earlier this year at the Dim Ray show.
Mm-hmm.
Are those the only two smaller venue shows you've been to, or any others?
So actually, here in this area, we went to me and one of my friends Ryan came out here and went to a it's like a festival, but they did it in like 7 or 8 venues around the area. It
Yeah.
was so cool, dude.
Yeah.
I can't believe you live like in like biking distance of this type of stuff. This
Right,
is like
right.
Mecca, man. It's so cool.
Yeah.
But in that one, I saw Hell Neo was playing, and then actually even had like an idol group that the one of the main vocalists there has like a giraffe mask on.
Okay.
I can't remember what the name of the band is,
Okay.
but dude, it was amazing.
Oh, this was just a few days ago. No.
Well, the one that I went to was like in January.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
think it might have been the night after or the night before the Dim Rays concert. It might have been
Okay.
the day after or something
Okay.
like that.
Yeah, but there are a lot of festivals that go around here, Shimokitazawa,
Mhm.
as well as Shibuya. So that's a whole other experience. And like, it's funny because like overseas fans are like, I love this band, they're so
Yeah.
amazing. I love this band, they're so amazing. And then the ability to see all of those bands in a given
yeah,
day.
Yeah, it's in a weird way like a like musician speed dating going to like a festival like this because it's like
Mm,
I don't know, maybe like a 20-30 minute set,
right.
maybe 30-minute
Right.
set. I don't know. So but that's pretty interesting, and it's cool to be able to see that much talent in one day.
Yeah, that is a weird thing. There is almost sort of a Renaissance quality.
Mm-hmm.
There is sort of a Renaissance quality, Renaissance artist quality to Tokyo with like bands, with musicians, because they're such high caliber and they're all like walking around on the streets, hanging
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Um,
Just since we've been sitting here recording, there's been like people like full bands walking by us. It's been pretty wild.
yeah.
Pretty crazy.
So, and you've talked about wanting to even come to Japan and live here, right?
Yeah, most definitely. I hope one day.
So, would you vibe well with this kind of area?
Yeah, I think I would, man. I've been looking for some like Nashville, and I'm no disrespect, but like just hopefully somebody out there can relate to me saying this, but I just don't feel inspired by where I live at the
Okay.
moment. And I went around for a while, like looking for inspiration, like looking for that place, and of all places, Uyuni Park. I went through there, and there's like a club for people playing like ukulele club, and there's like 20 people in a ukulele club. There's like acoustic guitar clubs, and it was like the perfect day for me to walk through there and just see like that, and it really inspired me. And then coming to a place like this where it's like it feels like this entire town is like musically driven, even though it's like
Right.
so much. But I think I would thrive in a place like this just because it's got like an infectious energy to it. I think.
Mm. It's almost like this is a bit old school for some people. There was a movie, a Disney movie called Sky High.
Oh my god, yes.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Um, but
kind of a lot like that.
it's a school full of superheroes.
Yeah.
So then like everyone's got a power and they're all just going to school and having the
Mhm.
usual like bullying, food fights, whatever else.
Yeah.
And I guess there is something of that nature here in
Mhm.
Tokyo where like every which way you go, there's just bands
Yeah.
playing and they're all again super high caliber. They're all kind of
Mhm.
superheroes of their own,
Yeah.
sort.
And in a weird way, I don't know if it's from like my perspective of it, like as far as being like in the YouTube and part of it. You know what I mean? I'm not sure if it's like from my personal perspective, but like this Tokyo, I would say is like more condensed than even like LA and stuff,
Right.
but it doesn't feel as pressured as LA does, or as like in LA, I feel like everybody is like, look at me, I'm this, look at me, you know what I mean? Trying to do
Mm.
that, and I feel like Tokyo here it's more like, look if you want to, but I'll blow your mind if you do. You know what I mean?
I think culturally there's the difference there is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Americans do tend to be more just upfront and saying,
Mhm.
hey, like, please look. Whereas in Japan, you're taught pretty much your whole life to sort of blend in,
Yeah,
have the
okay.
same color
Mhm.
hair, wear the school
Mhm.
uniforms, kind of, go by the book, play by the
Yeah,
rules.
that makes sense.
Um,
I maybe that's the thing that I really identify with. I don't. I feel like I identify with it, but I really respect it, and I like that. Like I'm drawn to that because in America, it's not even please look at me. It's like look at me, and then also
uh,
give me a runway.
uh,
Like New York, great example. Like the dudes handing out mixtapes.
yeah, yeah,
They're
yeah.
gonna force a mixtape on you, and then be like, "You got to pay me for this, man. $20. Come on, at least it's art." And that's American culture, and I don't know. That's not all American culture, by the way, but there's a good bit of like that. And I feel like here I
Mhm.
haven't seen that, man. I don't know,
Mhm.
but
Um,
yeah.
so with like the Japanese music scene going on and you being here a few times now, this is how many times is it now?
My seventh time.
Seventh time. And in seven times in the course of how many years?
I'm thinking two. I think right around two.
Okay, 7 times, 2 years. What's changed from the first trip to the trip today or
Ah,
this time around?
yeah.
Perspective wise, anything? And have you been
Hmm.
enlightened in some way?
Yeah. I don't know. Honestly, like, well, in that seven trip time, I think the last time me and you talked was really eye opening for me. Whenever we were talking about like caliber of talent and being able to actually see that for
Yeah.
myself is really gave me a slight shift in perspective of it because it's like there's only so many bands. Like if I went out right now and posted on my YouTube channel, uh, let me hear some new bands from Japan, and I just got flooded in comments. A
Right.
lot of them are going to be the same answer. You know what I mean? But then like there's so many bands here. Like on that festival I was talking about, like there was probably 50 easy 50 bands that played that, if not more, and they're all talented and really interesting in their own right.
Right.
And so I feel like that was a big moment for me. And then this is a random one, but I saw a girl busking.
Mm,
I think like the third time I came here,
okay.
she was busking in Shibuya, really close to the Scramble, and she like there was a crowd around her and like some older like businessmen clapping along and actually singing the song, and I was like, "What? She's got a
You
fan
will
base?"
often get older businessmen.
Yeah, that is so wild, dude. Because like Nashville buskers, y'all know it's a different experience. It's not the same, dude. Like most of the time, people are like drunk, might push you or something like that. Not the same, dude. So it was really cool to see that, and I feel like that is another one of those things. It's like music is very. It feels to me at least alive here.
Yeah.
I like, yeah. Well, but you've been living in Japan and in the Tokyo area for a while. Like,
Well, Tokyo, it's been a year.
mhm.
Japan, it's been 7 years.
Do you remember even what your perspective of the music was like when you first moved here?
My perspective when I first moved here, the first eye-opening experience was a free live show by this band called Real,
Nice.
um, who didn't sort of stick with me, but it's because of them that I went online on YouTube,
Oh, nice. Heck
and that's
yeah.
how I discovered Bandmade.
There you go.
So for those who don't remember or don't know my history with Bandmade, I found Bandmade and I decided these girls are going to be my musical girlfriends because I can't afford a lot of girlfriends, just one. So any money I had, anytime I had, was invested to them.
Hmm. I like it.
And it was good. Those first like 5 years together was amazing. And
Heck
then I
yes.
finally decided to sort of look at other bands. And get a
Nice.
little bit more into sort of
Yeah.
the scene here.
Hmm.
And that ended up changing a lot of the trajectory of what I ended up doing.
Hmm.
But so yeah, I mean, in the beginning, I was aware of other bands. Of course, I listened to some other stuff,
Yeah.
but my bread and butter was Bandmate. And
Hmm.
then 2 years ago, discovering bands like Hades,
Hmm.
like Sega, Whiskey Dust, whoever else. I mean, a lot of other bands.
Hmm.
And then saying, "Oh, I really want to be a part of this. Like, there's so much good stuff."
Yeah.
Um, and all of a sudden, you realize just how large of a buffet table there is in Japan
For real.
musically.
Yeah.
It's not even just rock, but the variety of rock, the genres of
Hmm.
rock, and I mean, stylistically, they're just it just runs the gamut,
Yeah.
like every which way.
There's bluegrass here, man. Like really, really talented bluegrass musicians. I'm like, oh my god.
Tennessee, baby.
I know, right? Yeah, it's wild, man. So, but yeah, it will definitely. I feel like for anybody that hasn't really came out here, but maybe is thinking about like, I really want to come to Japan, like it will change your perspective. Even if you've watched YouTube video after YouTube video, it's like a very like being here and actually seeing it for yourself is like definitely change your perspective.
Yeah, it's a bit of a different like it's the difference between reading about water, studying water and what it does,
Hmm.
even seeing pictures and videos of water, and actually being in water.
Yeah,
It's a world of a difference.
yeah, yeah, most definitely. Very good way to say
Um,
it. But man, Shibuya, like this area in particular, it's just, and two, I think like Baki the Rock or something like that. The anime was actually
oh,
based off of like there's a venue here that is based off of or something.
that I don't know.
Yeah, I like so they've written animated about this area. It's like pretty wild
Mm.
place, man. But do you ever feel sometimes like with how much variety there is? Do you ever feel like weighed down by that, or do you feel like
Yes, easily the answer is yes.
yeah,
Um, I think for some people, especially as pure fans and only fans,
mm-hmm.
they listen, they like, and then they love, and then they invest.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've been to any number of shows now, and then you'll see the same fans of the same bands for those
Yeah,
um, and they invest deep, and maybe it's a handful, but it's those handful,
mm-hmm.
and they're happy with that. And I think for me, it's a bit different because part of my journey is discovering more bands
Mm-hmm.
and discovering new talent and hoping to promote that.
Yeah,
Um, and it's just there's just only so much time. And again, there's like literally thousands of bands like sprawling
yeah.
like all throughout, like everywhere
Mm-hmm.
you go. Um,
It's kind of a wild thing too. So like for me, I know you said like Bandmate was kind of this band for you, and I think for me, BTS was this band for me, where it was like I didn't necessarily start off my YouTube channel just checking out BTS, but like they were the first band that I ever really like. I was really into the certain music that I was into,
mm,
and didn't check out much anything else. And so whenever I did check out BTS, I was like, well, this like I went really far into checking it out
mm,
because it was like not what I expected. And but it never was like I'm going to turn myself into like it wasn't going to be a BTS channel or anything. Uh, but then whenever I went back and I was like, all right, well, we've checked them out. Who else is out there that is cool like this that I can like that I
right,
haven't been open up to?
right.
As soon as I did that, like there's kind of like a fandom toxicity kind of thing that happened, which is like a good thing I think looking back at it retrospectively. It sucked at the time because like as soon as I did reactions to other bands, I was like, I'm just gonna open the floodgates. I was like, suggest bands to me. I'll check out everybody now. And as soon as I did that, dude, I probably lost like 400 or 500 subscribers. But like, it's so just like to be able to put a number to like, I guess the like people that were like just hating the fact that I didn't start checking out other bands. But like, I feel like what I gained from that, just from
Mm,
like even if nothing else, just like good music that I listen to now,
Yeah.
has been way substantial. So I'm assuming probably the same thing might happen once you start like, I'm not just gonna check out Bandmate. I'm gonna check out like other
Right.
bands. So probably maybe the same thing happen.
Definitely some intense fans. I don't want to call them haters.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that is the term that needs to be used, but it's
Yep.
like,
Yeah.
dude, why is Bandmate not in every video anymore?
Yeah.
And I decided, and I talked about this, with my partner SJ on the channel, is
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm here in Japan,
Yeah.
and I have a very singular opportunity to be here to experience like the whole scene and what's happening. And
Mm-hmm.
there's so much,
Yeah.
and I felt like it was a disservice to myself, to fans overseas, because I'm actually here. I can discover these things, introduce these bands,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I had to say like, okay, so we're gonna do a bit of a pivot. It's not a hard pivot. It's not like we abandoned Bandmate,
Yeah.
but at the same time, there's so much happening here, and there's so many other bands who I feel have just as much talent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, okay, like Bandmate has they're very special. They're a
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
unique band. They're pretty much like 5 stars all across the board, whether it be
One
songwriting,
thousand percent. Yeah.
technicality, just looks, being
Mm-hmm.
adorable. I mean,
Yeah.
like personality, all these things. But there's so many other bands here, and I felt like I have a unique opportunity and ability
Mm-hmm.
to help these bands.
Yeah.
So for me, it like you said, like I'm okay with it. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
okay with the hate or whatever it's like. Yeah, as
Yeah.
long as I feel like I'm happy and satisfied with doing something that really feels worthwhile.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
But honestly, I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like everything you said with Bambi being like kind of 5 stars across the board. Like last night, seeing them live just reminded me of that. Like, just they're absolutely a flawless band, which is very unique. But like, you can, I mean, dude, one of my favorite foods is ramen, and I've smashed a lot of ramen. But being here this time, I'm like, what else is around? So I've
Mm.
checked out a lot of other restaurants too. So it's like, I mean, variety is a big thing, and just humans aren't always mad. We're not always sad. We're not always happy, and I feel like music should also reflect that. And
Right.
you being here and being able to like, they especially if nothing else, give exposure to these other bands that are trying to get to where Bandmate is right
Yeah.
now. They like need you in a way. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's like, so I think that's you're in this unique position where you can do that.
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
You know what's funny is that when I was deeply, deeply and only into Bandmate, I would do these graphics like all the time just for
Mhm.
fun.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever there was something coming up, I'd do a graphic, promote them, do all this
Yeah.
stuff. And I would hear often from fans who are like, dude, Peter, you should totally be hired by Bandmate to,
Right?
to
Yeah.
promote
Yeah.
them.
Mm-hmm.
And there was constantly this talk of like, yeah, I'd love to help promote and do marketing type of stuff. And it never came about.
Yeah.
But then here I am, like discovering these smaller bands,
Mm-hmm.
and having the chance to do these same things, like doing photos for them, like posting live performances, interviewing them, just any number of things, and being able to really make use of what I think I can do, what I am good at. So I definitely found a lot of satisfaction and just happiness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just being happy
Mhm.
doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah. And I feel the same for me. Like whenever I stopped necessarily just doing like the um, BTS stuff, I was like, it's not that I wasn't happy then, but it's like now I just feel like kind of like the freedom, like we talked about kind of earlier. Like I don't know that I necessarily can like work for somebody anymore
Mm.
because of that. There's just like this. There's out like the world is out there, but you know what I mean. I don't know. I couldn't necessarily just do that anymore. But man, I don't know. I love this place though. It definitely feels very alive and
Mm.
yeah.
Does it feel a bit like destiny? Like is like what? How to phrase this? How do you picture Japan? What do you picture of Japan in terms of your future? Like, what is Japan to you at this point? Like, what
Mhm.
will it be in the coming year or years?
I hope home, dude. That's how I feel like. But it definitely feels like I'd say an adventure right now. that's more or less it. I would love it to be home, but right now it definitely feels like an adventure. It's like somewhere for me to explore and something for me to be able to be creatively exploring. And so if it's only that at the moment, then I'm totally cool with it. But like if I could ever settle down here, I would freaking love that. So it's kind of that for me right now. And I think the adventurous part of it is like being able to like we were talking about, I feel like Japan has like this story to tell, and I don't know how much of it's actually being told at the moment.
Yeah.
So I really want to do that. I want to do my part in like trying to tell the story of at least the music scene in Japan, and then after that,
Why do you want to do that? Why do you feel compelled to tell Japan's story, like with their music and sort of, particularly, I guess maybe rock music, maybe metal, like where it stemmed from and where it's going? Why do you want to do that?
Honestly, I just feel like it's something that's not being talked about enough. Like we're definitely there's fans and stuff like that, and it's growing. But I feel like it's just a story that hasn't really been told, and if so, like not in a way that I would like really understand it, you know. And it's honestly, so that's kind of I guess my motivation is I feel like it hasn't been told really in a way that I would grasp if it has.
Yeah.
But also, it's one of those things like, how do you write songs? I don't know. I just pick up a guitar and start playing, and then eventually something comes out. And I feel like the same thing kind of happened with like the idea of this. It was like just it just randomly came to me. I was like, I would love to be able to do this. And like the more that I've came over here, the more I'm like discovering stuff that people need to know about that's just not being promoted, not being talked about in the ways that it should be. And I feel like having the audience that I have right now, I should at the very least let them know about it, you know? So that's kind of, I guess, at least, I don't really know where it came from though. I don't know how that idea came about, but it's just definitely something that snowballed more and more and more where I'm like, it's officially actually happening now. So,
yeah. So we should look forward to more of you in Japan.
I hope so, yeah. Hopefully so, very much. So game plan starting to like actually film for this is going to be like late summer, early fall, kind of hopefully into that fall area because it's ridiculously hot in the summer.
Dude. It is. It's nasty.
God. Yeah. Wait, so last year in Tokyo, you were here during the summer, right?
Yeah.
How was it?
Oh, disgusting.
Yeah.
Like absolutely the worst.
I came here in September and I was like dying. As soon as I walked out of the hotel, I was like in a sauna. I was like, so it's worse than like July and stuff?
I think August is the worst.
And try not to film in August.
Yeah.
Try not to film in August.
August is the worst.
Yeah. Dang. I think one thing that we've talked about before that I'd really like to like maybe your audience might be able to give some insight on this. It's like whenever I'm coming here to film, I'm gonna be filming like a big concert, ridiculously large sized concert, and then I'm gonna try to film things in between, like a small, like I don't know, one of the smaller venues here, maybe even like a 20-person venue or something. How do you get bands that go from like where Bandmate is at right now? How do you get bands to that point? That since there's such a condensed amount of talent here, and like that whole discussion is something that I feel like we've probably even touched on this kind of like around it a lot today, but like just there's not a clear path for that, you know? You can get signed with the record label that's just, and then you just never pick it up, but there's, I don't know, man. But I really want to be able to tell that story of like who those people are that are coming up in the scene right now that are going to be the next Bandmate or they're going to be the next like bands before that. I mean, there's so many steps in, I guess, popularity, world market wise.
Right.
But I'm wondering who those next bands are too, man. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think part of it is wondering who it's going to be, but then also you yourself kind of betting on your horse and kind of deciding on who you want and helping them.
I feel like for the documentary type thing, I know that's one thing I've been wondering and kind of nervous about too. It's like I don't know. Somebody else is gonna have to make that decision for me. Who are we gonna like put on there? Because I don't know that I'd be able to.
Yeah, I mean, like I definitely have horses that I'm betting on. That sounds bad to say horses, but like bands that I've invested in, bands that
Yeah.
I believe
Mm-hmm.
in their music and performance. Like for me, um, like I have to absolutely love a band's music,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, as somebody who thrives and has seen the music scene here, not through music videos, but through live
Yeah,
performances.
yeah.
I mean, performance is
Such a drastic difference.
it's an absolute must. Like they need to have performance like
Mm-hmm.
high quality.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so I think that those are the two main factors in terms of
Mm-hmm.
the music and then their performance.
Mm-hmm.
There are other things that may be considered peripheral, like their looks,
Yeah, yeah.
personality. But if you have all of that as a package, you think, oh, this band could make
Yeah,
it.
for sure. Yeah, but then it's like,
Um,
yeah, which I don't know. There are a lot of bands that are out there that like. I think that's one thing that's kind of as a reactor as well. Like, there's bands that I've seen here live, blown away by. Then I look at their music video and I'm like, this isn't the same representation
right,
as the live. So I almost feel bad putting that in front of my audience because it's like not them.
right,
And I'm like, you know, so it's,
right. Like that is the unfortunate thing. I actually talked about. Um, I actually talked about this with I think it was Kuya and Mayo from Hades.
Mhm.
But I was saying how a music video is a singular opportunity for you to show the world who you are.
yeah,
This is a chance. And with a lot of these indie bands, they don't have the money to finance all these music videos. And
Mhm.
if you see a band that is making a lot of music videos,
they got some money.
they've got some money.
Yeah, yeah.
They've got some money.
Mhm.
Like wherever it's coming from, they've got some money.
Mhm.
So it's like this is your chance. Don't make dark videos where they can't see you.
Yeah.
Show who you are.
Mhm.
Don't be serious when that's not who you are on stage.
Mhm.
Smile,
Yeah.
express yourself. Like this is your chance to show all your charms. Like this is sort of like the
Mhm.
Miss Universe beauty pageant.
Yeah, yeah.
You're showing off all of your best.
Yeah.
Um,
Because that might be the only time somebody sees you. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it's like,
and like
yeah.
that's one of the things that happened with Bandmade with their video Thrill.
Yeah.
Like it was posted, by some Facebook group or channel,
Mhm.
and that blew up like insanely fast.
Yeah.
And that helped keep them alive because
Mhm.
prior to that, they had thought that Bandmade was over.
Yeah, I remember hearing that,
You know?
which is wild.
Yeah.
But and I mean that kind of like also too last year or was it year before last their 10-year anniversary tour.
Yeah, 2022.
Okay, dang.
23.
Yeah.
23. 2023.
All right. So like them like what I just came into thinking like they've only been around for a little while or something like that. Turns out there's like 10 years of history that got them to where they are. Whenever thinking about like these bands that are like up and coming bands, they might have been doing that for like 5 or 6 years to get to the point where they're at
Right.
now, you know. And it's just
Right.
like that's kind of that whole like uh the betting on a horse thing. It's like it that's there's like such small variables. Like a Facebook group can pick up a music video and then they're huge. And so, you know, but there are those factors too. Like they had a really great music video and they also had really great looks and really great music.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah, so that I think that's why, and that's something that I realized is that all it takes is just one click or one like or one comment or one person.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, say for Dr. Dre to see this artist,
Yeah,
Eminem, and like
yeah.
blow
And
it
then
up.
just
Like
blew them up. Yeah. Yeah.
all it takes is for that one right person
Mm-hmm.
to be introduced. It's like
Yeah.
Baby Metal blew up because of Stephen Colbert. They came out
Really?
on the Late Show.
Oh, dude.
I know a lot of people, including myself,
Yeah.
who was like, "What is this Baby Metal crap?
Stephen
What is this?
Colbert.
What is this? Gimme chocolate."
Oh my god.
I watched it and I was like, "Holy hell!
Yeah.
This is something new." And
I
like
never would have known. That is awesome. He's
so
the
yeah,
freaking curator of Japanese music in America, dude. Stephen Colbert.
yeah, Stephen
That's
Colbert.
awesome.
So it just, I think it never hurts to push
Yeah.
and to just drop whatever you can.
Mhm.
You never
Yeah.
know when that one seed you plant can become this massive oak tree.
That's a solid life lesson, actually. By the way, solid life lesson. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know, man. But I am very genuinely stoked to actually start the filming process of that. And I
Yeah.
don't know exactly how long all of that will take to finalize. I don't know if I'm gonna have to come back a few times. Probably gonna forget to film something, but I don't know. But I'm expecting hopefully like next year, like during the film circuit, like South by Southwest, we're trying to enter. Gonna do that.
Mm.
So game plan is to do that. But yeah, I don't know how long it takes to edit these things,
Mm.
and then, but so it'll be myself, and then I've got another guy named Phil. He'll be filming a lot of it.
Phil
Phil, the
Ming.
filmer. Yeah,
Right.
but he's pretty awesome, dude. He's worked on a couple of pretty good documentaries, and so he'll be doing that. And then we've got an editor as well too. So I'm not sure how long those things actually take. Like it, for if it was me editing it, it would not be done by next year. But so it should be cool though. It's gonna be pretty like uh, low budget, but hopefully we're gonna make it look really good.
Mm. So I know you want to tell this story. What do you hope it accomplishes when it gets out there?
I honestly just more eyes on the industry here, like more eyes on the scene here, and then hopefully being able to inspire bands from here to take on a global market because I feel like it's very accomplishable if they put that as like their goal. I don't know how many bands now, like if you interviewed a lot of the bands in this area, how many would be like, do you think you can play America or do you think you
Mm.
can go play overseas?
Right.
More so than like, would you like to?
Right, because the answer "Would you like to" will almost,
Yeah,
invariably be yes.
yeah,
It'll,
sure, I guess, or something, you know. But do you
but the
think you
ability,
can?
right?
Yeah, and I feel like I don't know. I've said this a couple of times in my life, but I feel like I want to be a bridge, and if this is like a film way of doing that for the music industry from one to the next, I would love to do that. But
Yeah.
I just definitely feel like there's hopefully it does if people from here or if bands from here see that, hopefully it does inspire them to be like, I can go overseas, I can do this, and then hopefully it gets a lot of eyes over here.
Yeah.
So I think,
I think there are definitely some bands, some musicians that have been doing this like for a while now,
mm-hmm.
and so it's just part of their lifestyle,
Yeah,
and they haven't really, because they've been doing it for so long, and they haven't yet broken into, like, in a significant way, the global market,
mm-hmm.
or global audience. They don't actually feel that they can.
Yeah,
It's not really on their radar as far as an actual. It's sort of more of a pipe dream.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, absolutely, I would love to help bands not just get the exposure, but to eventually help bands to even play overseas.
Yeah.
I would say I've been doing my part, here and there in different ways.
I feel like you definitely have.
But I would definitely like to make that a more consistent,
Mm-hmm.
constant.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man, but honestly, I definitely feel like we're on the cusp of something. So it's the ball is rolling, you know,
Yeah.
and so just trying to figure out like how to keep that going and then how to build momentum. I feel
Yeah.
like that's a big thing.
I mean, I've definitely met people, like a handful of people who are like, I want to do this festival with these bands. I
Yeah.
want to have these bands play here or
Mhm.
here or here.
Yeah,
So, I mean, it's interesting because you do have these foreigners, and myself included, even though I don't, well, no, I do feel like a foreigner. What am I saying? I don't feel like a native at all.
well, you're living here. You're closer than I am. There's something in between foreign and native.
Yeah,
You're-
and that's Peter.
yeah, yeah. Nice. But yeah, I don't know, man. And one other thing too is like I see so if you just take for example Dev Pop Festival, they're getting a lot more Western people over in the actual show now as well too. There's like more Western metal bands that are starting to play, and but that's I just feel like there's only a handful of global artists that are really like doing either the reaching out or being reached out to from here. You know,
Hmm.
I don't know. But then too, I'm wondering if like visas. There's so many different random details in that getting bands overseas. So
Yes, sir.
yeah. So maybe there's a way to curate that as well.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There are definitely, let's call them obstacles.
Yes, yes, very solid way of looking at it. But like, and then too, with the internet now being what it is, like we were saying, music videos, so like that is a great way to now you don't have to play overseas to be seen,
Right.
and just finding out like those ways, like connections overseas via online, and how can you really get that band seen enough to where they can go overseas and start playing.
Right.
Like Nemophila, didn't they? So they did an American tour actually before I got into them,
Hmm.
and it's like how, where were they at then that they felt like comfortable going over to America?
Yeah, I don't know the details of that. I mean, I know they played Whiskey a Go Go.
Mm-hmm.
They did a one show thing. A few people that I know were at.
Mm-hmm.
And how did that happen? I'm not really sure.
But
There is a story. Some of you guys do know. Feel free to drop it in the comments below.
heck yeah, for real. I mean, honestly, it's research at this moment. But I mean, it's stuff like that. It's like I love the fact that they did that, and I feel like they were kind of a band maybe that were stuck in the circuit, and I feel like there's bands that go overseas and they get stuck back in the circuit here, where it's just
Yeah, that does happen.
so I don't know, man.
There,
Keeping that,
there are definitely bands that I've met. I mean, I'd say pretty good number of them
mhm,
who had something that was happening and there was momentum.
mhm.
They did play overseas at some point in some country, and then they're sort of back in the circuit. And I don't know if they feel slightly humbled or disappointed,
Mhm.
like they thought this was going to
Yeah.
continue, the trajectory would be keep on going up,
Mhm.
or does that always?
Yeah. See, that's a really hard one because like it can be either of those, and it's like one of those band by band basis things. But like for me, anytime I like playing in Nashville, which I imagine is like a lot like playing in Tokyo,
Hmm.
like the talent in Nashville, if you go play songwriter nights, so good. Every person there is like a little mini Taylor Swift or something like that, and the
For
talent,
those of you who like Taylor Swift,
right, right. But
I do.
I mean, she's got a talent for writing for sure. But like, so it's wild because going from Nashville even to playing like somewhere like Knoxville, which is like 3 hours east of Nashville. It's not Nashville anymore. There's like a big, not to hate on anybody from Knoxville, but there's like a big talent just drop off because like Nashville's flooded with musicians. They're like, you can go to Nashville and make it. And so like there's that type thing where like you can come back from a tour. I've done acoustic tours where I came back home and I'm like, not bad globally, or like at least in the nation, I'm not horrible. And but then like so there's that aspect, but then I feel like there could be that little bit of I thought we made it, but this isn't what we expected. And like too, like for I'm curious what it is with Band-Aid. They've done like they did Lala, which was huge.
Yeah,
They did a US tour.
they did Knotfest.
Yeah, huge. So I'm curious why they haven't gone back. And this will be their second year almost now, right?
So in 2023, they really pushed for the States.
Yeah.
It was shows in Japan, shows in the States, festivals. And then last year they quieted down. They were working on their new album.
Yeah.
This year, no overseas dates.
Yeah. We got those last 3 shows on there, and I was like no overseas dates. So I'm curious.
Yeah. Um, hmm.
It's weird because speaking with Nemophilis people, they were saying that financial stuff was the issue there. So I'm guessing like they didn't sell as many tickets or something that they were expecting overseas. But with Bandmade, I only went to the Nashville show, so I can only speak for that one. But there's a lot of people at the Nashville show, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's impossible to deny that people in the States and elsewhere too are clamoring for more Bandmade, and they'd
Yeah.
easily travel.
Yeah. So I don't think
Um,
it's finances, but it could be. I don't know.
I mean, who knows? I don't know if there's issues with Live Nation. Who knows what it is?
That place is the worst, dude. Live Nation's so horrible. Oh my god. I never actually thought about that. Because there's a certain percentage, it's way higher than 50%, of venues in America that are owned by Live Nation or Live Nation adjacent that has a
Right.
contract with them. And if you're not one of their bands, you can't play their venue. So
Right.
that could be a that
There
could
could
be
be a
a
factor. There could be a
that's a
factor.
very real factor I've never thought of. Oh my god. Huh.
So,
Wild.
yeah.
That just blew my mind actually. Dang. Yeah, Peter leave me speechless. But man, just like in Nashville is like here, but imagine like if in this area there was just a lot of these venues just starting to shut down. And you're like, why? But then there's like maybe 3 or 4 mid-sized venues that are pushing all the bands there, and no bands are coming to these smaller venues. That happened in Nashville, and there used to be like dozens of venues in Nashville, and now there's like, I mean, maybe a dozen, maybe two. You know, not as many bands like venues. So it's kind of wild.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the thing that once you start getting deeper into the music and then the scene,
Mm-hmm.
you can't but run into like the, the other people who are part of the music scene who are not necessarily musicians.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that's where corruption I think starts coming into the music scene a little easier.
Yeah. So I mean, you have to acknowledge that there are managers, there are promoters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, any number of other people involved, and
Yeah,
it affects everything.
yeah,
You know, how you play it, just
yeah.
who you're connected to. I mean,
Mm-hmm. Man, that's a wild thought, dude. I've never actually thought about that one. Dude, this like I'll be back in shooting for September, that area for sure. And maybe we can, whenever I get some dates together, hopefully we can find some bands to like feature on this.
absolutely.
Get some little interviews set up and stuff. That'd be cool,
Just tell me who, I'll make it happen.
dude.
I will
Yes,
absolutely make it happen.
I
I'll reach
freaking love
out.
that, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, if it's cool with you, can I talk to your crowd really quick for a second?
Please do.
If y'all would like to help in ways of like research, because I'm very new, like still, I mean, I've been in the music, Japanese music scene for what, like 2 years now. So even in that, I'm very green and I don't know a lot of stuff. So if you guys would like to help with like uh, answering questions or just sending me information about it, I would love that. So please like message me. All of my stuff is just my name, so it's just John Reaves Live. But please reach out to me because I would love to help. Because
There are quite a few people who are knowledgeable, who believe themselves to be knowledgeable.
nice.
Just a lot of people who love sharing information. So for those of you out there, please do so. I'm sure you can provide some insights and maybe some direction.
Yeah, dude, it would be amazing. Even if nothing else, cross-referencing stuff, just being like, "Hey, is this accurate or something?" You know. But
Yeah.
which actually, you told me earlier today about like the Beatles. There's
Yeah.
a lot of things that I've even learned just from our conversation today that I'm like, so yeah, it's gonna be cool. And I want this to be like a community thing. I don't necessarily want it to be like John Reeves Live's documentary. I want it to be like it's not
John
my
Reeves
story.
Live and Peter Lim documentary.
Yeah. But it's like it's not my story. I just want to be a part of telling it. You know what I mean? So I think that's like I just want that to be known. I don't really care necessarily if my name is on it. I just want to be able to tell that story. So yeah. But dude, for real, I've loved this conversation. I loved our conversation before this even started. If you guys
We
were
did
seeing
talk
that,
for like a couple hours before this.
if you guys were only seeing those stories as well, they're good. They're good.
Yeah.
But
Well, we can always continue a conversation somewhere else
I'm most definitely
online. I
down.
mean,
I'm most definitely down.
yeah, we'll definitely reconnect.
Yeah, heck yeah,
For sure.
man. Dude. Well, and then hopefully at some point you guys will see him on my side of the camera as well too. So I freaking love that. Have him over on my channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
So very cool. Thank you
Yeah.
always, John.
Right. Thank you, man. Thank you.
We've slowly been building a relationship,
I
and like all good relationships, we benefit each other, and we will continue to.
Yeah, heck yeah, exactly.
A lot of
man.
back scratching,
a little bit
not stabbing, scratching.
scratching, just light scratches, you know.
Yeah. Friendly, platonic.
Yeah. But I am in his pocket, by the way, just in case anybody's wondering. There's a PRS involved, and I just have to say, one day you're just gonna call me out of the blue. I'm gonna be like, "I got you, buddy. I got you."
It's about connecting what needs to be connected. You know.
Uh,
So
Dude,
I'm happy to do that.
I guess, man.
Okay.
Guys, thank y'all. Thank you, man.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much. This has been John Reeves visiting here in Japan and Tokyo. We are here in Shimokitazawa, just hanging out at Brooklyn Roasting Company. So
Delicious
thank you, Brooklyn. Um, yeah, and we will see you guys again. And definitely stay tuned because we both have a lot in store.
Yeah.
We both have a lot of dreams. Um, and we can build a dream together,
Yeah.
stay strong forever. Nothing's gonna stop us now. All right, guys. Thank you so much to Peter and John. We'll catch you again.
Peace.
Bye.